Drunk, I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, floating somewhere up in the clouds. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're like wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, now, trip. Oh,
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. This video is for all my people out there who want to quit their jobs and travel the world. I mean, we live in a day and age where you can do so much online. There is no reason why you should be stuck at your shitty job, constantly looking forward to the weekend or waiting for that vacation time. And so I want to give you guys some advice from someone who has been in your shoes. I was working a corporate job last year. I was working that 9 to 5 last year in 2019, and I decided I wanted to follow my own passions. I wanted to travel the world and see the world on my own terms. And so I want to share my journey, but more importantly, I want to share some jobs that you can do if you're someone who wants to live wherever you want and make good income. We're talking about location independence and financial independence. So I want to break those down for you, and I want to give you guys some tips on what to expect before you quit your job. So stay tuned for that. But before we get started, make sure you smash that like button, okay? And smash that subscribe button too. Join the family. It is free to subscribe, and I'm gonna be bringing you guys a lot more videos on travel, on entrepreneurship, on what it's like to, live this lifestyle and run a business while traveling the world, and what my day-to-day looks like while I'm traveling and all of that jazz. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the video. Before we get into it, let's talk about your current situation. For me, I didn't outrightly quit my job and say, hey, F it, I'm traveling the world. I didn't do that. What I did was I assessed my current situation. And what I mean by that is I was in a job that I knew I could do from anywhere in the world. I was working online, coming to work and working on a computer, and I knew that I could do this on my laptop. And so I decided that I was going to speak to my manager and negotiate. And so what I did was I renegotiated my current contract at the time. And that gave me the freedom to be able to take my job overseas when I decided to move to Bali. So for you, what I would say is this. If you are okay with your current job, or if you're thinking about transitioning into starting your own business, you don't necessarily have to quit outrightly. You can actually renegotiate your contract. And I would say the biggest thing to think about here is leverage. What are you doing that might be different from what your coworkers are doing? Are you replaceable? I mean, everyone is replaceable, but do you have certain skills within your company or authority on a certain subject matter that might make your employer want to keep you around? And if you do, this is a good time to use that to your advantage and say, hey, I love working at this company. I'm not ready to leave, but I do want to renegotiate so that I have more flexibility to be able to work from home. And that is the first step, I think, if you're someone who actually likes your job and you're actually making good money. For me, I was making good money. I hadn't yet really fleshed out the business that I wanted to start at the time. And so the best option for me was to stay in that job, but speak to my manager. So I would give you that advice. But if you're someone who you're ready to leave your job, you have proof of concept in terms of whatever business or side hustle you've been doing, you're seeing that it's actually bringing in some money that can actually sustain you, then go ahead and quit that job, and make sure you do it on the right terms and in the right way. Because one thing you don't want to do is burn any bridges. I will tell you, the people who I used to work with have been some of my biggest supporters. Even now that I don't work there anymore, they are always supporting me, and having that feeling and knowing that you have a network that is there and that can support you and that you can always reach out to is so, so, so important. So make sure whatever you decide to do, you're doing it in the right way, and you're going about it without being too impulsive. I know it's so exciting to be like, hey, I'm quitting my job, I'm traveling the world. I know it's exciting, but we need to have a game plan here, okay? We need to game plan and we need to strategize. It's our lives we're talking about, okay? So yeah, that would be my first tip, is to look at your current situation. Before I break down the jobs that you can do from anywhere in the world, I want to just say that this coronavirus situation has really shown us that a lot of these jobs can be done from your laptop. They can be done from home. It is possible. It is achievable. A lot of companies are really starting to recognize that and realize that you can still have the same level of efficiency and productivity while working from home versus working in the office. And so this is a good time now more than ever. If you are someone who actually thinks that you can do your current job, from home or working on your laptop from anywhere, and have more flexibility and freedom, this is a good time to start to speak to your company about this. And I think a lot of them will now start to recognize that they can provide their employees with more flexibility because you've been doing it for the past few months. And also, it's a lot more safe and it saves them money as well. A lot of companies I'm seeing now, they're starting to downsize. They're realizing they don't have to pay for these huge offices. Their employees can work from home, and it saves them a lot of overhead costs. So you have so many reasons now and so many factors in your corner if you're thinking about renegotiating your contract with your current employer. So this is a good time to do it. I know with the coronavirus situation, some people have been affected, but if you still have a job, then, go ahead and speak to your manager. Go ahead and speak to your other employees and see how they feel about it. Take that leap of faith. And if anything, you can use this situation to your advantage and say, look at how much work I've done over the past few months. You can ask them, how do you think I've done? Is there anything that I could have improved on? I think a lot of them will appreciate that. So that's my tip for that. But yeah, now I want to get into some of these jobs that you can do when you decide to leave your job or as a side hustle. If you're looking to make some extra money on the side, here are some jobs that I love and that I have seen people make money doing. And so these are actual proven jobs. And as someone who has been really in that digital nomad community, and I have so many friends living in Bali, Thailand, Portugal, Spain, all over the world, working online, and they can pick up their backpack or pick up their suitcase and decide to travel and work in the Maldives for a week or head over to Phuket for a weekend. If you're looking to have that type of lifestyle, these are the jobs that you can do. All right, so my first job or thing that you can do to be able to achieve financial independence and location independence is start a business. And really for me, starting a business was the reason that I went from my corporate salary, which of course was capped, to making multiple six figures within 1 year. And so when you start a business, your income can really grow and exponentially. There is no limit to how much you can make if you really put in the work and the time and the effort to grow that business. And so for me, aside from the financial benefits of starting your business, you're really going to get the most freedom to be able to live and work from wherever in the world, if of course you start a business that you can do online. So if you're thinking about starting a store, yes, you're going to have some level of flexibility and freedom. But if you take that store online and sell to people, one, you get to reach a wider audience, but also you can manage that business from wherever in the world. And so I would highly recommend, if you have a passion, if you have a skill that you can take online, then go for it. And that is going to be one of the best ways and the quickest ways, not quick all the time, but that's going to be one of the best ways that you can make, you can have that life that you want. And that's what worked for me. So that is my first piece of advice. Think about a business that you can start. Think about a product that is in need or in demand. Come up with something innovative, or try to solve a problem. And when you try to solve a problem, that's going to be the very best way that you're able to gain clientele and gain customers. If you're solving a problem for someone, you don't have to market as much, because you're reaching, you're addressing an issue that people already have. And so the amount of sales that you have to do is going to significantly decrease, because you're selling people something that they actually need, and you don't have to force them or force feed them to buy your product. So think about that. Think about a problem that you can solve. Think about a skill that you have that is in demand. And if you don't have a skill, then this is a great time to really start to gain new skills. I mean, we're all kind of at home right now. There's not much going down. The economy is really kind of slowing down a little bit. And the fast-paced lives that we used to live are really, really, really slowing down right now. So get online and start to learn some skills. And some of these other jobs that I'm going to mention are going to be great for you to use those skills to make money online. So let's get into those. So a great way that I've seen people work remotely, a lot of my friends who live in Bali and work for international companies do this. You can actually be a virtual assistant. And virtual assistants nowadays, they do so much. So you could be managing someone's calendar, you could be answering emails, you could be doing maybe customer service for an online company. Virtual assisting, there's so many different levels to it. So you can actually be a virtual assistant for a higher end corporate company and really make good money. Or you could do virtual assisting for multiple different companies. There's so many ways that you can go about it. But this is one of those jobs that doesn't require such a high level of skill, but can also pay. So I would definitely recommend this. It's a great way to just start to break into the remote working world. And it's also a good way to have some structure, because you can get contracts that are a little bit more long term, of course, because you're building trust with that employer, you're handling their day to day. And so then they tend to keep you on for longer, rather than working on a project by project basis. And so you kind of have a more secure income when you're doing virtual assisting. And I've seen a lot of people, like I said, that are doing virtual assisting and are working online. And you can really, at the end of your day, you can shut that laptop and you can go out, you can have fun, and you can do this from wherever. A tip for this one is try to find companies that are relatively in the same time zone as you. And that way it reduces the amount of pressure. It reduces the amount of the time difference between you guys, and that way you can work more efficiently. But if you can't, then you're gonna have to figure out how to work with that time difference. All right, so some other jobs that you can do while working from home, working remotely, working while traveling are editing, proofreading, copywriting. These are jobs that you can do remotely and online, and there are so many job opportunities online for in these categories, because people and businesses are always looking for these skills. So you can be an online translator and translate copy for people. You could be a copywriter. You can be an editor and help businesses out. You can be a ghostwriter. Actually, a lot of people who are looking for assistance, let's say they want to write a book, this is a great way to make money. There's so many jobs under this big umbrella that you can do. And I always see a lot of people making around $50,000 to $60,000 a year doing this type of work. Of course, this is going to be a little bit more on a project by project basis. So what you want to do is get as many jobs or projects as you can to ensure that you're reaching your financial goals. But there is that demand here for these jobs that I just mentioned. And these are also jobs that you can do online, and you can submit them. Whoever is hiring you will review it. They can give you their feedback, and then you work like that. So these are great ways to make an income. I actually hire a number of these blog writers, copywriters, people like that to help out with my business. And I know several other businesses that do that, and I see the demand for it when I am also hiring. So that is why I'm giving you this advice, because I have done it myself. I've hired people and I pay people a lot of money to do these type of things. And so these are things that you can do as well. The jobs that you can do are, you could be a graphic designer. And of course with this, it's a skill. And so you're going to have to invest the time to learning this, but there's so many resources online like Skillshare. Even YouTube is just a great resource to learn certain things. But you can do graphic designing for companies, helping them with their brand image. You can help with logo creation, so things like that. And again, companies pay for this. And there's so many people that are doing this as a side hustle. And as you grow bigger, you can do that as a full-time job as well. So graphic designing is a great one. If you're someone who's creative, then this is a great job opportunity for you. Video editing as well. So if you learn Adobe Premiere Pro or how to use Final Cut, and you can help people edit videos in a professional way, then you can also work online and make a good income. Again, these are skills that are in demand. People want ways to cut down their workflow. And so they're looking for people online that can help them do that. And so if you're a video editor, what you want to do is build your portfolio, right? And once you build that portfolio, you're going to see that a lot more bookings are going to come through because people can see the work that you've done. So you might want to start out small, let's say not charging that premium yet, until you've built a good, successful portfolio, and then you can start to charge a higher amount. So video editing is a great one. Graphic designing is a great one. Another job that you can do online is social media management, guys. You can do marketing as well, social media management. These are great in demand jobs that people hire for. I mean, there's so many businesses that need people to help them manage their Instagram accounts, manage their social presence, schedule posts, work on their Instagram or brand aesthetics, help out with the day-to-day marketing needs. So Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, things like that. Help them with organizing their marketing calendar, or assisting with their marketing budget, providing some sort of advice on, what works and what doesn't work. A lot of companies, you would be so surprised, a lot of companies need these skills. And so if you're someone who loves social media, who knows a thing or two about marketing, again, continue to build those skills, get experience, and then make that something that you do as a side hustle, and then transition into something full-time, because there is a demand, especially now that more businesses are recognizing how important having an online presence is. A lot of them are not doing it in the best way. And so if you can show companies that you can help them improve their social media presence, and you can help them out, you're going to be someone who can make good money online. Very common job that we see a lot of people doing that I haven't yet touched on is teaching online. Teaching online is such a good and accessible job that you can also do. Of course, it does require you to have some sort of degree in most cases, depending on what platform you're teaching on. But this is a good one if you want to teach people overseas English, or if you know, let's say, French, and you want to teach people French, a different language, then teaching online is a great one. Especially now with the coronavirus situation, a lot of people are looking for online learning, and a lot of colleges as well are transitioning into online learning. And so being an online teacher this is a good time to get into it. So whether it's working with some sort of school or organization or one of these online tutoring companies or online teaching companies, this is a good time to start to do that and start to work with clients. I know a lot of parents might want their kids to start learning more from home, or whatever the case may be. So definitely consider teaching online. Now, this might not pay as high as some other jobs that I've mentioned, but it still does pay well, and also depends on what you are teaching and who you're teaching. So your skill level or your knowledge level will kind of dictate how much you make, but you can still make good money. I have some friends that do this. My friend Bria, she taught online for some time and she loved it. And then she transitioned out of it and started her own business. So people do this, especially people who live in Thailand, Bali. They are teaching online, and that's helping them to be able to make that income to then be able to invest their time in other things that they enjoy. One job that I love, because I'm always hiring people for this, is we need videographers and photographers, right? And so if you're someone who loves to travel, consider being a photographer or a videographer, a traveling photographer and traveling videographer. And that way you get to book jobs all around the world. You can work, let's say destination weddings, and maybe create a business around servicing brides and covering their weddings, or just destination photography, destination videography. And that way you get to travel the world. And in most cases, if you are very good, your travel will be paid for. And so, for me, I have videographers and photographers that I hire, and I, obviously a lot of cases cover their travel expenses. And you'll find that as a photographer and as a videographer, a lot of the jobs that you're going to book, you're going to find that your accommodation is paid for, your flights might be covered, your food and all of that. And so this is a great way to combine your love for travel. And if you have a great skill with photography or videography, then this is a great job. And if you don't have that skill yet, there is time to build that skill and get into it if that's something that you're passionate about. But I just wanted to note that this is something that, again, is also in demand. Travel photography is growing. I mean, with the age of Instagram, a lot of tourists, they're coming into different countries and they want to hire a photographer to help them capture the moment. And so if you're already maybe in your local city, let's say if you're a New Yorker, you could list yourself on Airbnb experiences. And again, that's a whole other stream of income that I forgot to mention, but I'm going to get into it, is use your skills in your home country, and then take your skills abroad. But, make sure that you're leveraging those skills as much as you can. And I just mentioned Airbnb experiences. And why I love Airbnb experiences so much is, just like Uber, you can dictate your own schedule, you can set your hours, and you can set the price that you want to charge for your services. Well, unlike Uber, you don't set your prices with Uber, but with Airbnb experiences, you can set those prices that you want to charge for your services. So for me as a traveler, something that I've done a lot when I travel is I hire photographers. I go on Airbnb experiences, especially because I travel solo and I want someone to help me take pictures. I'll go on Airbnb experiences and I'll find photographers in that area and I'll hire them. And so that's a great way to work for yourself and do something that you love. But aside from photography, there's so many different jobs or opportunities that you can do on Airbnb experiences and make money. So there's people out there that are teaching cooking classes. You can show people how to make soaps. There's so much that you can do. You can do walking tours of your area for tourists if you're living somewhere that is exciting. You can do yoga classes, like, online. Market your skills on Airbnb experiences, and when tourists come into your area, you can do yoga classes for them. There's so many things. So think about something fun that people might want to do if they're visiting your area, and then that way, you can make some type of supplemental income from this. But Airbnb experiences is a great way to make money. This one is not necessarily the most remote, but it is a good way to gain financial independence and start your own gig and work at your own time is by doing that. So a little bit off track, but a great tip for how to make some money by leveraging your existing skills and your talents and your area. So consider that one. Right, so my next recommendation requires you to have some sort of apartment or a unique home or, property. I'm talking about Airbnb. There's so many travelers who Airbnb their apartments and then travel and they're living off of that income. So let's say if you have a property that you can rent out for a month or, on an ongoing basis, then you can rent that out, make that income, and then travel. So that's a great way if you have built some sort of assets. Not necessarily sure if you should be doing this if you don't own the property, but Airbnb is a great way to make money. And even if you do it for like a year, Airbnb your place for a year, and then use that opportunity to just travel for a year, that is a great option for you to ensure that you're getting that regular income. If you want the regular income, you're going to obviously have to Airbnb your place or rent your place out for a more on a more long-term basis. But Airbnb is a great way to make income if you're not able to get someone long-term in the door. And of course, the pricing system is great because it works based on demand. So maybe one night you're charged $180 and then the next night you're charging $260 based on, that demand market pricing. And so Airbnb is a great way to make money off of an asset that you're not necessarily using, and then take that money and travel the world, honey. So I know we've talked about the jobs that you can do, but let's talk a little bit about where you can find these jobs, right? And some of the resources, some of the websites that I love, my two top websites that I love are Upwork.com and Fiverr.com. These are two great websites where you can find work online opportunities, right? So I would definitely recommend checking those websites out. You can put yourself online, put your skills out there, and pitch yourself to potential employers and see what is out there for you. And if you actually go on Upwork.com, you can see what other people who are doing the same jobs are making or have made. I see lawyers who consult with people online and they are making $100K a year, $200K a year, while still doing what they love, working with legal issues, but working with people online. And so they have that freedom and flexibility and they're still making an income. Or you can find web developers as well, something that I didn't mention earlier, but you can be a web developer. You can help people build websites, apps, things like that, and make an income online. And you can find jobs from Upwork, you can find jobs on Fiverr. So these are great resources, and the resources I as an employer am using when I need talent or I need people to help me out with certain things. That's where I'm hiring. So that's why I highly recommend those two websites for you. There's so many job opportunities. My tips for listing yourself on Upwork and Fiverr, I think I mentioned this before, but make sure you start out, not necessarily charging a premium until you've built that portfolio. Make sure you're getting good reviews. Make sure that you're delivering work on time, you're communicating. Make sure that you're preparing yourself for interviews. Another tip that I would give you is when you're pitching for jobs online, keep your pitch short and straight to the point. Highlight and look at what the job description is, and then work from there. So if they said we want someone to work on this quickly, mention in your proposal, I can get this done for you within a week, and then deliver. And once you start to get good reviews, more people will then start to hire you. So those are my tips for working on Upwork and Fiverr, and those are also my recommendations for working online. All right, guys, I have talked and talked and talked, so I'm gonna wrap this video up and maybe make a part 2 if you guys are interested. But those were some of my tips, some of the job opportunities that you have available to you if you're thinking about having a bit more freedom in your life. It is so attainable now more than ever, and I want to just encourage you to take that leap of faith and ask yourself, what is the best that could happen? That's what I asked myself a year ago, and the best happened. And so we always think about the worst. Why not start to think about the best that could happen to you? Think about that life that you know that you deserve, because honestly, life is way too short to sit around in some 9-to-5 that you're not necessarily happy with. And you need to be able to take authority and take control of your life and make it happen for yourself. And it's not going to be an easy road. A lot of times we kind of see these success stories and we're like, oh my God, it happened overnight. But it really takes work. It takes dedication. It takes commitment to your dream and focus. And, it might happen in a year. It might happen in 2 years. It might happen in 3 years in terms of really getting to that point that you want to be at. But embrace the journey and find something that you're actually passionate about, not just what Instagram tells you to be passionate about or what you see everyone else doing. Find your own little corner in the world. And find a space that you occupy and that you can make a difference. And I think that is really the key to all of this. So what are you passionate about? Take it online, develop a strategy, and go for it. And that's really my advice. Is at the end of the day, we can sit and talk about all the different opportunities in the world, but it's really up to you to be able to make that leap of faith, right? So I'm rooting for you. Make sure you comment, you like, you subscribe. Tell me what you want to see more of. I'm gonna be bringing you guys a lot more videos on topics like this. So comment below if there's anything else that you want to see moving forward. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.
Just go a little crazy, lose it.